All right, welcome to the We3Kingz Podcast. I'm your host, Pharaoh, and my first co-host is Mike.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, boy? You know what I'm saying?
My second co-host is Steven.
Yo, what's up? What's up with you?
All right, so we're gonna have a jam-packed episode, I guess I would say, because a certain movie had just come out not too long ago from the time of this recording, called Black Adam. Now, are we starting with that or are we ending with it? What we about to do?
Let's start. Let's start with it, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, since you're so eager, then go ahead, Mike. Start off, bro.
All right. Hey, I'm letting y'all know. Okay, wait, hold on.
No spoilers. Nah, you know.
Oh, see, that's tough. So I gotta
Gotta use your
read
noggin.
spoilers.
Gotta use your noggin.
Wait, should I put a warning for spoilers or?
Let's try to avoid spoilers if we can, but if we can't, just be like spoilers ahead, and then.
Or should I try to keep it as generic as possible?
Okay. Let's start off like this. 1 out of 5. What do you rate it?
Oh, it was a 5 out of 5 for me.
Five scale
what?
kind of
Yeah,
ugly.
right now.
The
5
5
out
scale
of
kind of
5
ugly, but
is insane.
I'd say 3.5, maybe 4. Can you do 10 instead? I don't like 5s.
Wait, out of 5. Oh, it's not a, okay. 1 out of 10 then. 1 being the worst.
It was like a 6 or 7
You
then.
can still use half numbers. No.
It'd be like a 6 or 7.
No. You can't use 6 or 7 because that's an average. That's
No, it's
like
not. Not on my
yes,
scale.
Yes, it is.
Average is 5. Listen, we're not talking about females here. We're talking about a movie.
What'd you rate yourself? 5? 1 out of 10. A 7? No, bro. A 7 kind of high, but okay. You should have 6 or 7. I get number 5. I give it a 5. If I'm being honest with you.
I get a 10. That's me.
You're insane. There's no way that movie is a 10, bro.
Yeah, there's no way that movie.
Bro,
that's like top, like one of the greatest of all time, bro. You gotta scale that joint back.
I haven't even seen it, but it's like Titanic level right there, bro.
Hold on, bro. Listen. Everybody had their own opinion when it comes to movies. I was captivated the entire time I watched that movie.
What you are is you're biased. You're looking through the eyes of a person who likes superhero movies. You didn't look at the movie as a movie. For a movie, that shit is not a 10. Perfect example, without spoiling the movie. How, from the climax to the end, the pacing of the movie completely shifted randomly. Like,
it did for sure.
Where the climax should have been.
Oh yeah, I mean that.
Where the climax should have been was way too early. To where it came down and shot up, and then something that was amped up for the last hour and some change was subpar. But it's not a 10. I don't think any movie is a 10 if we're being honest with you. That
CGI was not there.
Even Endgame wasn't a. Infinity War Endgame weren't 10s. And those were paid.
I don't know, Mo.
10s.
I don't know about that.
No. I don't know about that one, bro. I don't know about that one. I mean, Endgame, no, but Infinity War, I don't know, bro. The hype on that one was just that shit hyped me up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that one. You got a point with Endgame, but Infinity War was
a 10 out of 10. If it was a 10 out of 10, it'd be number 1.
He got a lot of money.
There's like 2 movies. There's like 2 or 3 movies. I think Spider-Man is higher than it. I think Endgame is above Infinity War. We're kind of sidetracking, but it's hard to be a 10 out of 10 because that means there's no flaws. If there's a flaw, automatically not a 10. If there's any part of the movie like it's not a 10.
That's tough.
Is that not what a 10 out of 10 is? If there's a slight blemish, it's not a 10. It could be a 9.9. It's not a 10.
There's no such thing as a perfect movie, and I feel like having that, just having that strict of a guideline.
Okay, without being that strict. So you're saying, Mike, Black Adam is on par with Infinity War?
Oh, that's tough. If you gotta give me a choice. Oh.
If you say it's a 10 out of 10, I mean it has to match, Mike.
Forget the numbers, forget people paying to see it, because Infinity War was a 10-year build up. You can't compare that. You can't count that. Just movie for movie. you're saying that they're on par with each other.
See, I mean, when you put it that way, now it's kind of
It could be a 9. If you told me it was a 9, I'm like, all right, cool. I wouldn't say word.
like I mean, comparing it directly to Infinity War, I would probably, if I'm being unbiased, I would drop it to an 8.
There we go. See, I can live
But
with that. A 10 out of
if I'm
10.
being
Yeah.
if I'm being biased, like I felt like enjoying the movie, I say 10 out of 10.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna cat to you. I ain't gonna see. Now I might have an unpopular opinion. I think Black Adam is just a smidge better than Black Panther.
Okay, that
Smidge, just
eh,
a smidge. And
actually
here's why I say that. I feel like Black Panther.
they're very similar.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you can put them. I like the whole. Damn. And spoiler. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but because people see spoilers is different. I like the message behind who Black Adam is, because in reality, Black Adam is the Sasuke of the worlds that we need. If that's the best way I can explain it, but it's the Sasuke.
He's an edgelord.
No. It's the Sasuke. It's the Killers. It's the Vegetas. It's the. I'm running out of people. I'm running out of people. It's the. They are the heroes that are. You probably shouldn't. You probably, nigga.
And basically just an anti-hero.
I don't even want to call them anti-heroes because they're not. Like, Catwoman, you could consider her an anti-hero. Not really, but she kind of just does her own fucking thing.
I mean,
but Venom, he's an anti-hero. He's not going out saving fucking people. He's just, if he come across you doing stupid shit, you might, become a snack.
I mean, that's what Black Adam was. He's an anti-hero. It's a little definition of an anti-hero. Someone who kind of like rides that line.
But But here's why I disagree with him being an anti-hero is because he still goes and saves lives. He just might kill you in the process. He's the type to cross that line. He's just a hero that will punch you in your shit.
Yeah, an anti-hero.
I don't know. I don't consider that an anti-hero.
Yeah, I know it has the prefix anti in it, but anti-hero just means that he's not a conventional hero. As long as he's still doing heroic shit.
But it's kind of hard to say the reason why I don't want to call him an anti-hero is because then you put him in the same bridge as Venom. What's his name? He's on the back.
Depends on which Venom we're talking about. Because the Venom from the movies is different from the Venom from the comics.
Well, we're going movie to movie. We're going movie to movie. Movie to movie.
Yeah, movie to movie. The movie Venom is an anti-hero. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't like. Yeah, whatever. Maybe I just feel it differently. I prefer more anti-heroes than superheroes because, motherfucker, like Batman killed this bastard and then people will live. Like, what are you doing? Or let somebody else kill him.
Population control, Steve. Steve is population control.
But Black Adam, I'm being critical, but all in all, it was a pretty good movie. The pacing of the movie was weird.
I mean, it makes sense though, Steve, because remember it was like what is it, 2 hours 5 minutes? So like it made sense where it kind of felt rushed towards that. I would say towards the end because it was like
they drug it out for no. Damn.
Yeah, it felt like they had 30 minutes left, and they were like, we gotta make more movie.
That scene that happened, I can't breathe. That shit could have happened earlier in the movie. It feel like they rushed. That last like 30 minutes, they felt like that shit was rushed because they started to make the movie 2.5 hours. Fuck it. It's a Superman movie. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that movie was 2.5 hours. It got to the point where I was like, damn, this movie's still going? And like, once you watch enough movies in general, you can tell when you hit the climax. I'm like, have we hit the climax? Like, I'm at what point, like, have we hit the climax yet? Like, nah. And then the ending, like the after credits ending, I hated that shit. I ain't lie.
Hey man, come on, you can't hate on that, bro. You
I
should.
like okay.
I saw it. I,
So Khalil
I
asked
saw
me.
it coming as soon as.
So when Khalil asked me about it, I said that shit was corny as fuck. And then his girlfriend was in the back was like, exactly. Nah, that shit was nah, bro. That shit was corny as fuck. Hey, if you like it, you like it. I just think you can see that shit coming. You can see it coming from the beginning of the fucking movie, bro.
I mean, I didn't see it coming from the beginning, but when I see her face and I heard what she said, I was like, oh yeah, I know who was dropping out of the sky. But Steve, who are you expecting to drop out of the sky? Would be my next question.
Martian Manhunter.
I know it's another question too.
Fucking,
What
Nah, I'm joking.
he
I'm
would
joking.
get clapped.
it would make sense. It would make sense because okay, I don't want. See, the issue is us talking about it. Well, it doesn't really ruin the movie because it's the after credits. I expected one of him to show up since they have a movie coming out. That would make fucking sense. And they all do the same shit. They all, I can say him. Boo! Oh shit! I'm a superhero or anti-hero, whatever you want to call.
I mean, and to address what you were saying. It would be a nice matchup. And I think Martian Manhunter would probably had to use his mind abilities on Black Adam, but I still think he might lose that one.
Nah, he would. I was just kind of joking saying Martian Manhunter because of what she said. Someone not from this earth.
All right. So Mike asked me, do I think DC is starting to catch up to Marvel superhero movies? What do you think about that? I said, I don't think so just yet, but I feel like Disney, Marvel, whatever, they're pushing too many superhero movies because it's a fad right now. Like superhero movies are in, but they have too many coming out back to back, and then they're coming out based off the TV shows too, like Doctor Strange and his movie. That it starts off like her whole premise of her losing her fucking mind is because of WandaVision. I like that they made it to where you didn't have to necessarily watch WandaVision to know why she's snapping, because they kind of explained it like in the first 20 minutes. But they're throwing so many out, they're not quality anymore. They're just a quantity. They're not bad movies, but they're not good either. And then I've seen the one with the Asian dude when he's like with the rings. I'm like, I haven't seen him since. It's been like 3 or 4 superhero movies that come out since then. So do I think they're catching up? No. But I do think with stuff like Morbius, Disney is starting to teeter the line of it being a little more adult. Like with that scene where he snatched his head off. Marvel would have never done something like that in the past with Disney. But now, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Multiverse of Madness, literally, Scarlet Witch literally caved Professor X's head in. No, it wasn't Professor X. It was the other guy.
And then the dude who tried to speak, she said "wet mouth," and it made his head blow up. Well, she didn't make it blow up, but he speaks, so boom, off his head.
But yeah, Black Bolt, bro.
Yeah, Black Bolt. That's the person
That's
she caved the head in.
that's crazy, bro. Like you gotta understand that the power leveling they put on her in that movie was insane. And I mean, she can do stuff similar to that, but like Black Bolt can almost destroy a planet with just one word.
But I mean, Scarlet Witch
To be
got rid of all the
instance.
mutants in one word. So
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, at that moment, if that would have been the real them, first off, Reed would not have confronted her without a plan. The real Reed, like the actual like that was my problem with that scene was I like the real Reed would never have confronted her
yeah, I mean they're cannon
without
fodder
without
because
an
it's
actual
not the
plan.
main line, so it's like whatever.
I
It was
guess
just
so.
used for a shocking
But,
moment.
yeah, but that raises concerns for like scaling there for later on, like, cause that team should not have lost that bad.
I feel like it'll be fine later on. 'Cause like I said, it's not the main cast. It's not the
Like
main.
I'm telling you right now,
Her.
Reed would have already had built something to stop her from using that ability. He has suits that he built that can stop like at least lock it up to a certain degree. And I'm kind of confused. Like, why didn't he have contingencies in place? Reed is not dumb. He's like one of the top 5, top 10 minds in the Marvel universe. So like Disney kind of dropped the ball with that one. Made me that upset me with that one. But I mean, I still watched it all the way through because it was it was shocking. Like, oh snap, she going crazy, going hard. But it's also like scaling issue. But hey,
I feel like it'll be fine because Disney just how it's gonna end up.
yeah, I don't love every superhero movie that come out. Like sometimes just moments in there that
You're not
just
even gonna watch it. Like Ant-Man's
make
coming
me
out.
upset.
Hell no, I'm
I
not
haven't
watching
even
that.
seen the second one yet.
I haven't seen any of them.
I seen the first one. I like the first one. The second one I haven't seen yet. The third one you're ready to come out. They're about to go crazy though, cause if it's following like the word, and they figure out how to use the quantum force, Ant Man might be a real problem. Him and the Wasp in the future.
So, do we think Disney movies are catching up to Marvel?
I think Marvel. I think I agree with what you were saying when me and you were talking in the theater, Steve. When you said that Marvel's more maybe taking a step back, in DC, we're starting to see DC in a better light. Cause I mean DC, it's certain DC movies I think are hits, right? Like I think Shazam was a hit.
Most definitely.
Wonder Woman, the first one was a hit.
Yes, most definitely.
I felt like Aquaman was a hit. I don't know if everyone watched that one.
I didn't
I
see
know I
it.
watched that
I
one
didn't
too.
see it, but I heard it was good.
Yeah, so like they got some hits, but to me what hurt me the most was when like okay, I know Scott Snyder, I think it was Scott Snyder had to step away from the Justice League movie and they gave it to the other guy. And the other guy trying to he went off brand a little bit instead of like because the DC universe that they were setting up was kind of very dark, and then he tried to put Marvel into DC and kind of like made that terrible Justice League movie that Scott Snyder released his own cut of.
I think it was Zack Snyder.
I think Zack Snyder cut was better than the original movie, especially with some of the way some of the characters look. Like let's be real, the main antagonist I forgot the boy name. He came out there with the villain drip on. He had a whole metal suit on top of it. You know who I'm talking about, Inf?
Steppenwolf. Is it Steppenwolf?
Yeah, Steppenwolf.
Yeah, it's her.
I will say though I think that Disney Marvel is kind of coming back because they're pushing out so many. DC is definitely getting better, but what DC's issue is they put out so many bad movies. Not just bad movies, they have bad TV shows. So because of their bad TV shows and their bad movies, that they started kind of like backtracking and everything. Marvel's brand of superheroes, because anyone who knows Marvel and DC knows DC is a lot darker than it is in compared to the Marvel universe. Even their superheroes have like dark paths and carry this sense of darkness, but Marvel's always exhibit this underdog fight, like Peter Parker, the smart, nerdy kid who gets bit by a spider and becomes super strong, and now he has to balance life in the rich philanthropist who's cared for nothing, then he gets humble and becomes a servant. The white man who stops World War II, shit like that. So Marvel has always, not always, but that's been their primary. That's been their money makers. Superman, Spider-Man, Captain America, Jesus Christ, Black Panther. Like they're big, they're big fighters. They're big. Are corny. Essentially, it's like they're America's heroes. Where at the end of the day, the superhero wins. Outside of Infinity War, but the superheroes win. DC, nah. So, all right, we learn from anime. You're gonna die. I think also I said this around the time Spider-Man came out. Since we're in a new phase of uh Marvel, right? You have to remember when Infinity War came out, that was built up over 10 years. Like from the initial Iron Man until then, that's like a 10-year buildup. Imagine us now. Do you think by the time we're almost 40, we're still gonna be into superhero movies? So I'm like, they're also trying to figure out. Well, maybe. Honestly, we might not. Who, if we got another 10 years, if we're being honest. But if we're being honest, they're trying to find their group of kids, like their group, their target audience, right? So I'm like, that's also what they need. We as consumers need to remember they're entering a new phase, and the first phase or so is gonna be a little rough because they gotta introduce new characters because Iron Man is dead, Captain America's gone, well, the white Captain America's gone. People are dying. Thor is doing whatever the fuck this Thor is finna do right now. So, with that being said, you have to take into consideration that they're introducing new characters, and these characters are kind of boring. If I'm gonna keep it, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Morbius doesn't look like an interesting character. If I'm being honest with you,
I honestly thought he was in the previews, but I mean, I didn't watch the movie, but people did not like the movie.
and then with Black Panther, I feel like, okay, God rest his soul, but I feel like the transition into Black Panther's sister might have been rushed because Chadwick Boseman's passed. So that's unfortunate. That's just like that's nothing you can do about that. He just, God rest his soul. But that may have been rushed earlier than it intended to be. Because Black Panther 2 may have been a completely different movie. But we'll never know now.
Yep, now it's gonna be different. I'm wondering what their plan is, because after I watched the two back-to-back TV shows. And I know it's a movie, but and it's different from TV shows. But after watching Ms. Marvel, I got to like episode 4. And I was like, yeah, it's trash. I stopped watching it. and then She-Hulk, I got to episode 6. And I just have not felt the urge to see 7, 8, and 9, even though I've heard 8 and 9 might be the best ones out of.
I thought you finished the series. Did you lie in the last time we talked?
I did, but I don't remember the rest of it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even remember what I watched. Like that, that's how boring it was. Like I was in there. I was in there asleep, bro. I woke up, it was already over. That's how boring 7, 8, and 9 was for me.
And then, like I was saying, you have to remember the culture in which we are in America is starting to shift. We have more feminism, more politically correct things to say and do that can't necessarily, I don't say can't be shown, but it's being changed, being pushed, being promoted, whatever you want to view it. That's different from when we were growing up as kids. Whether or not you consider it a good thing, what?
Are you saying that's a bad thing, Steve?
If you consider that a good thing or a bad thing, it's up to you, but you have to acknowledge that it's happening. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's something that you need to acknowledge, and the results of it will speak for itself. That's just that. I'm not gatekeeping how movies should be made or how they shouldn't. Do I think it affects the creativity? Yeah, when you put a leash on something, you restrict its movements. Not saying that it being more sensitive to topics is a bad thing, because cool. But when you do that, make sure you're not restricting yourself, because I would say this: everybody supports something until what you support goes against you. That's just that. But the point of what I'm trying to saying is that the culture of superhero movies are different. Like, let's take She-Hulk. She-Hulk, that shit is bad. Not because of the cultural shit that goes along with it. It's just bad because you can tell they're trying to.
Bro, it's not, bro.
Make it funny and the shit's not funny.
Far have you seen
being honest with you? I watched to like the first 2 or 3, and I said I can't do this no more. And then it's not just her that's bad. It's like the Hulk. The Hulk is like what is this?
I mean, they didn't make the Hulk just not intimidating anymore.
Wonder Woman was a good example of how it should be done.
You sure about that? Cause I mean, some people didn't like it.
No. The first one. Because I say that. No, the reason why I say the first one was good is because you can tell her being a woman was not the premise of the movie. You acknowledge she was a woman. She grew up around nothing but women. You could tell that her being in a sorority essentially affected her when she met men. But it wasn't, I am woman, hear me roar. That's why that movie was good. It wasn't built around her being a female. And then Captain Marvel? I think Captain Marvel. I kind of looked at it and said, yeah, I can't watch this.
Yeah, that was the same problem. Even in the movies, they had it like that.
I watched it. It had some okay moments.
And I'm talking
And
about when
then,
she
but
had
there's some
like
other moments
made
that
the
was kind of
cameo,
weird. But
like she was there from day one or something.
And then, yes, that was such a bad cameo. She should have, okay, so I would say this: the scene when all the women got together because Superman was like, how you gonna get this across this entire field, this entire war zone? That scene was kind of cool. Like, okay, because it didn't just have the superheroes. It had Valkyrie, it had the sister, it had the bald lady. I can't remember her name. I'm like, okay, cool. But then Captain Marvel came out of nowhere talking about oh yeah, this is going on everywhere. I'm like, well, why are you here now? Like, they brought her back. I think they brought her back because she saved Iron Man or something like that. I can't remember what she did. She did something that was like relevant to the people. I'm like, bro. And then she went and got Molly Wop. Then she went and got her ass handed to her.
I mean, from the part of the movie I watched, so from what I know, having watched it, basically she had went off to save, cause she said the galaxy is a big place. She got a lot of places that need saving, not just the Earth, and the Avengers need help. So she out there roaming the thing, and that's how she came across Tony. Now she had not obviously she hadn't participated in Infinity War at all, but she got the call before Fury turned to dust. Cause I don't know if y'all know Fury got erased, so she got the call. Now I think some people would like when I saw it, I was expecting him to put out like an Avengers call. Maybe we were gonna see new members or something pull up. Cause at this point half the team had been eliminated from Infinity War, but he called her, and I mean that's cool, but
She should have had one more movie before she was brought out, like as a part of the Infinity War. But even I can say that, but then you can say the same thing about T'Challa. T'Challa, yeah. But I'll say this. People hate Captain Marvel so much that the actress might stop just like because I was ranting about it like 2-3 days ago, or it popped up on my Snapchat. Don't really remember. But the actress was like, I don't even think people want me to be Captain Marvel. It's like I as a rational human being can separate fact from fiction. You as a person, as an actress, I cannot blame you for the situation that you were put in. You were put into a bad situation because the writer set you up to fail. Like, there's no, like, and then it's like you can't criticize the movie for being what it is without looking like an asshole. But I'm like, fact of the matter is, you should just let her be a superhero, not a woman superhero, not a female super, not a, just be a superhero that happens to be a woman. Like Wonder Woman, the first one. That's why it was so good. She was I won't call her a superhero. She was a Amazon that happened. Well, because she's an Amazon, but you get what I'm saying. She was a hero that happened to be a woman. Her womanness was not important to the actual storyline. It just because she was Amazon, she had to be a woman. And then I think she saved the dude in the first one. She's like, oh no, he died. That's what the fuck it is. I'm trying to remember, like, it was something important that happened.
that was tragic. That was very tragic.
And that was written so well that I even shed a tear for the man.
Oh, that's tough.
But hey, I think Marvel gonna figure it out, or they won't, because at the end of the day, you have to play to your majority crew. And I hate to say it, Mike, the majority of the people don't read comics.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So with
you're
that
not
being,
lying about that one.
so when stuff translates to the movies, like this never happened in the comics, so people are like nitpicking. But for people like Superman and there's so many versions of these heroes that there's no possible way that you can actually make this a you can't make it the same all the way through. But
Oh yeah, there's some things that there's also some things that they can't they're not gonna be able to replicate from the books. Some things that might be, I would say, very old and wouldn't like transfer over really well, and some other things that yeah, very very similar to that, like Black Bolt. Uh, Honestly, when she closed his mouth and it blew his brain out, it's supposed to have done more than just that. If we're being honest, yeah,
but it's
his
still a
whole
movie,
body
Mike.
should have either been
Mike,
dust
it's
or it
still
should have been guts all over the
Mike. It's still a movie, bro.
all
Relax,
over the.
bro. It's still a movie with kids there.
No, no. Hey, what they gonna have to learn today?
That a body just randomly explodes. There, what are we teaching them? Not to mess with the Scarlet Witch. You should have figured that out. But I think Marvel gonna figure it out, or they won't. DC's definitely starting to head in the right direction. It's just Marvel is doing Disney really. They're doing too much at the same time. They're putting out movies and they're putting out TV shows. They're trying to do TV shows like they did with Invincible. Like they put out a couple and then they do them every week. I'm like, we might as well get cable at this point.
Hey, you know what's crazy though? What I will say is, the people that's working on the special effects and the animation and all them, they are getting worked to the bone. Like as soon as they finish the project, Steve, they like, all right, on to the next one. What? They can't even go to the bathroom. Cause they working with all the, cause every year they, I think it's the Comic Con, they come out with the whole like phase and talk about what movies went through or what new movies have come up or what has changed and stuff. I know they getting worked to death.
But now my question is The Rock gonna come back to do like a Black Adam 2? 'Cause Black Adam has been in the process for like years.
He probably won't get it. He might not get a second one. We might see him appear in Shazam 2, and he might fight Billy. Well, Shazam, you know what I'm saying? We'll probably see that. Or he might turn into a villain that the whole league might have to come take down at some point in the future. I don't know if he that important though. Like he important, but he not like Doomsday or Darkseid where like you literally need the whole planet ready to go. Or else people gonna start losing their lives. Oh, that's another thing. Talking about the brutality, Steve. I don't know if you've seen I believe it's Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Man, I know it's animation, but you see some very brutal stuff in there, bruh. People getting bodies ripped apart, ripped to pieces. Ugh, yuck. But like animation, like allows them to go in depth and detail more than the movies probably will.
I mean,
But
Warner Bros. Doesn't care about animation anymore, so.
yeah, I noticed that because they talked about rebooting the universe and they didn't rebooted it and don't nobody care about it again. I was like, that's sad. They gonna reboot it, start with a new Superman, and I didn't even watch the movie.
I think it's so tough, man. Companies that started out as animation companies don't care about the original product anymore.
Hey, you see what happened with Rooster Teeth, right?
I'm not talking about Rooster
Rooster
Teeth.
Teeth is
Mike, I'm talking about Disney and Warner Brothers. I'm talking about big companies here.
bro. DC bought Rooster Teeth, sir.
I don't
So
give a
yes, when you
fuck.
say DC, when you say DC, you're talking about Rooster Teeth too. AF, stop being disrespectful.
Oh, I don't care. Who cares about RWBY? Nobody.
RWBY is hey, you know what's crazy?
What's up?
They tried to RWBY, man. So they stopped RWBY at least to a certain extent. I think they still like putting out some episodes, but not as much as they would. Because they tried to start up this new series called Genlock. But then they ended up, I think they going like almost bankrupt, basically. So then they ended up selling, they had to sell the company to DC, basically. DC was one of the only buyers to pick it up. And I'm like, what's going to happen? Like, are they going to keep it over here or what? But then, like, okay, so now they've done like a reboot type thing where they basically gave it to a company over in Japan. So now this company over in Japan is making a RWBY anime. And I'm like, okay. They basically stopped the 3D style like work that they had early on, which is kind of sad to see. But you know, like I told you, Rooster Teeth is really starting to break apart. Like a lot of the older guys and girls and moved on to, you know, other projects or other companies, work at other places and stuff, and retire. And it's crazy to see that. And it's crazy to see that. And I remember like how like back in its heyday when it was popping, like 2010, bro, 2011. Some say, you know, even hell, even 2015, Rooster Teeth was going. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Rooster Teeth going somewhere. And now 2022, they done been sold and bought and sold and switched around, moved around, shoveled around.
To be fair to Rooster Teeth, as far as like a group channel or whatever goes, they're like they're the one with the most longevity.
Yeah, you're not lying. What is them? What? What's it? Is it Mashima? Another one? Machinima, my bad. Some other ones. That's a lot of them, bro. And it's crazy to see them. And like you know, it's not gonna last forever, right? Like we all know that it's not gonna. You know, some people move on to some other ones. You might have a boss that might be the best thing is just sliced bread, and he might retire, and then another boss take over, and then this other boss is a hard ass or something, or you know, kind of like, you know, not like the other guy. He's not gonna let you get away with the stuff you got with the other guy got or shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, before we go to that, I just wanted to add on to that. It was funny that you said they went away with the 3D style for RWBY because seems like anime is going that route.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, because you remember that
I mean,
that Dragon Ball Z movie we watched, nothing but 3D anime.
yeah, yeah, we did.
Terrible.
It's but hey, for some reason too, I've noticed to the West, especially now, since the East has become so prevalent with anime, I've seen a lot of copying. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just talking about shows. I'm talking about in terms of like when they put the product out, they're trying to. How I want to say this without being disrespectful.
Say it how you want to say it, man.
Yeah, they're trying to repeat the success that anime has had. Now there are some hits.
You talking about?
There's also some
Wait, hold on. You
companies
talking
that,
about Western animation?
yeah, Western,
Trying to recreate.
yeah, yeah. I think Western media is trying to capture some
I
of
mean,
that.
Western media has been influenced by anime for the longest time. At least for like the
I mean,
late
yeah,
'90s, early 2000s.
yeah. But I'm saying like I'm talking about now, like especially now. I've also seen some interest wane in terms of like Marvel and DC, but I've seen increased interest in more independent properties. If you know what I'm saying, like independent projects, like you know, like Invincible, the independent project in a certain sense. So I'm thinking, because we're seeing a market shift, maybe working at Marvel and DC isn't the end all be all for some creators, if you know what I'm saying.
No, it's not. Just like YouTube and Twitch. People want to get into entertainment. It's not the end all be all to be on like a movie set or work for these big ass companies.
Cause you know I've seen some people that like they're happy for them, like it's one of their life dreams to work for Marvel and DC, and then other people's like, well, I kind of want to make my own, and I'm seeing people who make their own kind of make more money in a certain sense, you know, like maybe more side projects, maybe not nowhere near as the big companies would make, but you know, 100,000 go a long way. 250,000 go a long way. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm wondering, are we seeing a shift from? Cause would it technically be called like decentralization? Is that even a word? I might have to look that up in the dictionary. I've heard someone say.
Decentralization is a word. I don't know if you're using it right because I don't read anymore.
Um, that's what. So, and what I mean by that per se, from at least from what I'm trying to use the word for, I don't know if I'm using it correctly or not. Y'all,
The transfer of control of an activity or organization to several local offices or authorities rather than one single one. This seems like it's more of something political than
like a global, like a government type thing. Okay, similar to that, but instead of global and government, let's say more like entertainment. Obviously, you know, maybe entertainment is showing us we don't. It doesn't have to come from Division One, like or as some people would say Triple A. I guess in entertainment, maybe Double A, maybe Single A might be more people's slice of life coming through, switch up type things. Maybe they don't always want to see Superman and they just sleep. Maybe they want to see Mark get his tail whipped by Omni Man for the 8th time.
I don't know if they want to see that, but
That's
funny
just how I
little
feel
meme.
about
But
that.
I think you want to at least see. You want to eventually see Mark be like, "Yeah, fuck you, pops. I'm the big dog now." All right, y'all. So that's it for the topics. This has been your host, Pharaoh, with my other co-host,
Mike, you know what I'm saying, in the cut. Like, subscribe.
Steven quit on us at the
Oh,
end.
Lord. That's
So
sad.
yeah, that's the podcast. Like, share, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff.
Yeah, all the things the other YouTubers tell you how to do, you know what I'm saying? Get it done. Our upload schedule's a little shaky, but we'll get it all together. We're working on it.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys later.